Hello and welcome to Perinatal and Pediatric Conversations, the podcast of the PPA. I'm Dr. Jessica Taglerini, and today I'm interviewing the great Dr. Linda Slack. And today we're going to talk about how it is possible to have a practice that just sees kids. Dr. Linda Slack has been practicing for, is it 40 years now, Dr. Linda?
Yeah, hard to
Wow,
believe.
amazing. And how many of those years have you been just seeing kids?
Just seeing kids for about 15 of those years. Yeah.
Okay. What inspired you to make that change? What motivated you? What was the reason behind that? How'd you come to that decision?
So after getting my certification through the ICPA, my CACCP, and then going on to study neurology through the Carrick Institute and getting certified in neurodevelopmental disorders, I really wanted to focus on just kids so that I could narrow my focus of practice so that I could really take good care of those children, especially the neurodevelopmentally challenged ones. They take a lot of work, um, a lot of mental just stability to figure out their care planning and their ongoing care. It's a lot of work, even outside of the office, to know what the next step's going to be for them as well.
Okay, and you
Yeah.
practiced with your husband. Was he supportive of this decision?
So he's really the one that pushed me to do it because he saw that my training has had way over his head. So he said, at this point, I don't think I can keep up with you. So why don't you just live your dream and see all the kids and I'll see all the adults in the practice.
I love that. And what age would you consider kids? So what age, assuming from birth all the way up to what age do you say?
Yeah, so
Before
organically, my practice actually became mostly infants, with the beginning of the tongue tie world and TOTS, or tethered oral tissues, and all the babies who are having issues that way. Um, I got known through that world as, as a referral source. And so I see about 80% babies in my practice and then 20% children with neurodevelopmental disorders. And then the practice fluctuates. Sometimes there's phases where I see a lot of children with ear infections because there's a mommy group on Facebook where people are recommending chiropractic for children with ear infections and different things. So, um, social media has become a really great source of referral for different
certainly,
things.
yes. Okay. And
Mhm.
so at what age do you turn the kids over to Jean-Marc to take over?
So that's getting younger and younger because we
I bet.
just,
It sounds like it.
yeah, I had an associate for 2 years who helped out, and now she's not no longer with us. So, um, but Jean-Marc usually sees the teenagers, so maybe 12 and
Okay.
up, or children, who have sports injuries, or just like come in and they woke up with. I had four children aged 8 to 10 today who came in because they had neck pain, which is so unusual, right? So, um, he can see babies too, but he prefers to see the older children.
Okay. All right. What is your favorite type of case? Do you have a favorite type of case or condition to help out with?
My favorite type of case is a child who's neurodevelopmentally challenged, so ADD, ADHD, autism, because to me, watching the change in those children as we go through care and seeing how powerful chiropractic is the most rewarding thing I think that I can do as a chiropractor and to give back to them. And it's the biggest challenge too, because some of those kids have behavioral disorders and they come in and basically tear through the office and like they bump into the walls and they knock things over and you have to go give them parameters and say you can't go back here, you can't go in this room, and you can see how frustrated the parents are watching their child and not going after them because they're just fed up to here, right? They're so tired and frustrated and stressed. And then when we see the child their behavior start to change first, the parents are so ever grateful because it changes the whole, it changes everything for home life, going out with them, and the changes happen slowly over time, and it's just a really, really beautiful thing.
That's great. I can see where that'd be incredibly rewarding. So when you decided to just see children, you had all this training and you have this great idea. How did you grow that practice? Did it happen organically? Did you have to meet other healthcare providers that could refer to you, like pediatricians, lactation consultants, things like that? Did you advertise? Like, what did you do? Was it all referrals?
It was all internal referrals. So the beautiful thing
Wow,
about having babies being the first practice member of the family, the parents see and watch what you do, and then they say, they ask, do you see adults too? Or my older child has XYZ, you know, can you do anything for him or her? And so it just organically happened. And then I would get a call from the Mass Breastfeeding Coalition asking, can you come speak for our annual conference or other places? And I'm like, yeah, how did you get my name? So it was all word of mouth, all word of mouth.
that's really great. That's really great. Now, you said you've been practicing 40 years, 15 of them seeing just kids. How many more years are you going to do this?
As long as I can. So
It's
we were
really
just
fun.
talking we were just talking about this yesterday together, that I only practice right 2.5 days a week. And so I've been retired in practice for so many years, and going into the office, it is my family. It's my life, and I love what I do. So why would I want to retire?
Absolutely. 2.5 days seems like just the right amount, the baby bear's porridge of how many days to work. And when you're working these 2.5 days, how full is your schedule? Do you have room for more referrals? Are you pretty booked out? What happens when a new patient calls? How much time before they have to wait to see you?
Right. So, pretty much it's like 2 to 3 weeks now, right now.
Yeah.
It can be longer than that, but right now it's about 2 to 3 weeks to get an appointment.
Yeah, there's only so many hours in a day, and
Yep.
seeing kids takes longer than seeing adults. I'm sure you've gotten this question as well. Sometimes people ask me if I charge less for children, and absolutely, yeah. I
Or
mean, gosh,
nothing.
how much experience and training do you need to see the children? Much
Yeah.
more, right? How do
So
you
our
handle that? Do you ever get that question?
all the time. So, even when I teach, well, some doctors will say they don't even charge for kids because it's so easy and they're just doing it. So, it takes a lot more energy and a lot more effort, and I spend much longer, especially with infants and the children with neurodevelopmental disorders. Their visits are longer, so we actually charge more than for children than we do for adults.
Good for you. There's so much value in it. You're starting their lives off differently and better, and they're just going to be healthier, happier adults, and their spines are going to be healthier their whole lives. It's
Absolutely.
unprecedented.
We're actually changing the trajectory of children's lives. So my passion is to see children before they enter school or right when they do enter school. Like I just started a new patient today. It was his first visit, first adjustment, and he's 6 years old. And in preschool and now kindergarten, his teachers have, told the parents that he is just reckless in school. His behavior is poor. He lashes out. He's like, like hit other children as well. And now, if we can get to these children before they get to school age and we can change the trajectory of their brain development and basically rehab that brain and take pressure off their nervous system, and they will settle down. And, the hope is that by the time they get into higher learning, they won't have that whatever label was put on them to begin with, or they won't have to go for a to the neuropsychologist to even be tested because they'll become and appear neurotypical.
Yeah, and I mean, and indirectly, you're improving their mental health as well. I know kids who get pulled out of classes for special ed and all those kinds of things. It really affects their self-esteem. So when you're helping them to the point where they can be part of the general classroom as a whole, it's really good for their mental health.
Right. There's so
So,
many different issues that's one of the questions that the mom asks. Like, what if we were to do nothing? And, because most people don't know about this type of care, which is sad. And, what would happen? And I said, well, the first thing that would be recommended would be medication. And the child's going to be pulled out of the classroom, as you said, and that creates issues because all the other kids in the class are looking at you, and they also have this stigma that if you're pulled out of the classroom for sped or if you're in special ed, you're not smart, that you're dumb. So maybe teased or ridiculed by other children, and it kind of creates an outcast situation potentially. So why would you want to do that? And then those children are clumsy usually. They don't excel in sporting activities, for example. And this one in particular, the mom said, "Oh yeah, he used to bump into things when as a toddler all the time." So then if they're not good in sports, that's another area where the other children are gonna, they'll be picked, the last one picked for a team if they're
yeah.
in gym class, right? It's an embarrassment.
Yeah,
So,
I think you said it best when you said you're changing the trajectory of their lives, you know? Imagine a world where every kid was checked as an infant and got chiropractic wellness checks throughout their lives. Imagine how much healthier our country would be. It would
yeah.
be amazing. And so,
Imagine how many
you're
people, like I'm
setting,
sure you've had practice members also, like adults who said, "Wow, I wish I knew about this when I was a kid." Or
yeah,
even parents, "I wish I knew about this for my first, child." And
yeah,
then I say, it's never too late.
it isn't. Better late than never, for sure. Sure. All right. Well, thank you so much for allowing us to interview today. Everything was very interesting. I am so inspired by you, and I will continue to enjoy seeing the children in my office as well and learning from your wisdom. So, we would like to ask if you guys have not already done so, please follow the Perinatal and Pediatric Academy on Facebook. And if you go to our website, perinatal and pediatricacademy.com, and sign up for our newsletter, you will get notifications whenever we release a course or even when we release a new podcast. We are continually enjoying making these podcasts for you, and we hope you enjoyed this one. And as always, thank you to Floating Axe Technologies for powering our podcast today.